People have been tagging me. They've been talking to me. They've been messaging me. Surprising, I know. I actually have friends or people that care about me and my content. I've been on the hype train for close to 2 years for this dumb, stupid, goddamn movie about a movie that's awful, alright? I saw it in a kid's cinema, and now it's time to actually review it. The Disaster Artist is a dramatic, biographical story about the making of Tommy Wiseau's iconic master stink piece, The Room. It tells the story of Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau meeting in an acting class, which, oh boy, does Tommy Wiseau need more of those. Then they move to LA together and finally make their movie. And of course the movie I'm talking about is Citizen Kane, the best movie of all time. Oh fuck. I have no clue what this movie is. Who the hell is Orson Welles? This is garbage. Throw it away. Where's my Blu-ray of The Room? Tommy Wiseau, please make one that's region-free and or isn't $50. Please, it's a collector's item. I want some underwear. Along the way, as you'd expect, if you've seen The Room, heard about The Room, or done more than 5 minutes research about it, the production is an absolute shit show, and it puts Greg and Tommy's relationship through a lot of ups and downs, mostly because Tommy Wiseau just made crazy choices and treated his cast and crew like absolute garbage, including Greg. The movie does quite a good job of telling this story as an actual traditional movie, but it is also there for people who love The Room and for people who have been following it for years and who have met Tommy Wiseau and who own Tommy Wiseau underwear. I'm not part of that group. Please, Taylor, buy me Tommy Wiseau underwear. I'm really putting you on the spot. Please. The Disaster Artist combines a ton of different genres, including drama and comedy and biography and fucking documentary, to actually convey to an audience that might not see The Room who the hell Tommy Wiseau is, why anyone would want to care about him, and why anyone would ever pay to watch The Room. Who's Tommy Wiseau? I'll tell you who Tommy Wiseau is. He's James Franco. James Franco was absolutely goddamn fantastic in this movie. There's no way that I can really fault his performance, except for later on when I kinda do fault his performance, because this is a review, not just a Sony shill. Sorry, I just had an aneurysm. I'm not sure what just happened. And I'm not saying that it's an incredibly hard role or anything. It's just, this man has gone to Hugh Jackman levels of role enjoyment in this movie. Seriously, he just loved every second of it, and you can tell. He made me laugh from the first frame he was on the screen to the last frame, even in the dramatic parts. In the dramatic parts, to be fair, he actually had a decent amount of acting ability and really used it. Made me feel for, well, Tommy Wiseau, played by James Franco. The fact that I can feel actual emotions because of that is ridiculous. Good job. Genuinely. Before I saw the movie, I read and watched a lot of interviews from James Franco talking about how he prepared for this role, which was mostly just having interviews with Tommy Wiseau, having conversations about him and his life, which I imagine would be incredibly difficult considering how mysterious and secretive he is. Seriously, he denies basically everything that's true about him and just wants to be his own person. Man, that guy is fucking crazy. I'm just gonna come out and say it. He's insane. Watching some analysis videos and some video essays of this movie has really made me realize that, wow, there's some nuances to James Franco's performance, and there's actually some effort and some emotion, and that's amazing to see, really. Even if everything else in this movie turned out to be a steaming pile of garbage, he definitely would have carried it anyway. He is the shining star of this entire movie. I mean, he directed this movie as Tommy Wiseau. So he stayed in character on set the whole time, making a movie about The Room, directing that movie about The Room as the guy who directed The Room, who he's also playing.
Hello, my name is Mr. Meatball.
Next level. Dave Franco, who plays Greg Sestero, is good. I'm not going to say he's fantastic, because really Greg Sestero is a unique person and a bit of a interesting character. Dave Franco is kind of just Dave Franco, and when I saw him on the screen, I saw Dave Franco instead of Greg Sestero. I kind of just saw a fake blonde beard, and that was about it. Despite that weird bit of criticism, he does bring enough emotion to the role to actually bring some sort of weight in a lot of the difficult scenes, and I can respect that. He's not bad. Now, I have to say that Zac Efron is a goddamn machine. And I didn't think that that would be a sentence I'd be saying any time past like 2008 era. Zac Efron, I thought that maybe he hit his peak and now he's just in pretty bad Seth Rogen movies and really bad romantic movies that make it like straight to DVD because they just don't make a lot of money in cinemas because no one knows that they exist. But he's fantastic in this. He plays Chris R and he's so intense that it's incredible, to be completely honest. It's hilarious. The second that I saw him on screen, I was laughing. He was jumping. He had the beanie on. He had the little goatee. You know, he had the track pants on. He's running, getting hyped up, going, oh yeah, blah, blah, and like screaming at a wall to get himself hyped up for the scene. I honestly never thought that I'd like a Zac Efron performance. Any other actor with a similar body type or really similar age would have been able to pull it off, but he was perfect. Josh Hutcherson plays Denny, which I know is another super weird casting choice. I don't know who else would be able to play Denny, but he is brilliant. He's perfect. He's amazing. I can't get the image of him in... I can't tell if it's a bad wig or they really did ruin his hair like that, but he's got this huge mushroom of a thing, and he's perfect. Fuck, I love him. It's one of his best roles in years. I have to say that. I'm not saying that because it's such an amazing role. I'm saying it because he's been trapped in like the young adult novel bubble for so long, and I feel awful for him. He's one of those kid actors that just... he got a break. And then he was like, hey, I'll do that Hunger Games movie. And now he just... I don't know what he's doing, man. I really don't. Mwah. Bon appetit. There's a million other people with small roles that you'll definitely recognize that I really can't mention because there's too many of them. But if you are interested in any sort of stand-up or comedian things, funny stuff, you'll find someone that you know. Definitely. Nathan Fielder from Nathan for You is in this movie. Yeah. We live in a real universe. Isn't that amazing? The dedication to recreating scenes and shots from the room, I have to say, is impressive at the very least. I admit that I've seen the movie probably a few too many times, and the lighting department and all the crew, the DP, everybody to do with that, including James Franco, oh my god, they must have seen it so many more times than me, and I have to apologize. I'm so sorry. But on the other hand, they also kind of technically got paid to watch The Room. So that's pretty amazing. You got yourself a good gig there. The lighting is exact, really. I know that it's harder to recreate bad lighting than it is actual good lighting. You know, just put 3 lights in it, whatever, we'll do that. We'll fill the whole scene with light. And having no creative input, essentially, because you're just recreating shots. I feel like that would be quite difficult. So, shout out to them. James Franco, surprisingly, actually has quite a large filmography in terms of direction. Like, he's directed a lot of stuff, but nothing that's really been a hit at all, critically or financially. In fact, most of his movies have been absolute flops that no one has gone to see, and the people that did go to see it, they didn't like it very much. So to see this movie actually exist, and to see it be not a piece of shit, is genuinely really surprising. There's nothing incredibly flashy or impressive about the direction of this movie, but it definitely services the story and it works. It's not directed like a piece of garbage because the movie's not a piece of garbage. James Franco knew what he was doing here. He did it, and then he got out. Should I give the props to James Franco for directing it, or should I give the props to Tommy Wiseau for being the person that he was emulating while directing it? I really don't know. But either way, he did an alright job. Hopefully this movie means that James Franco is on to better things. The film has a great theme and message throughout it, which is to never give up. It's a real DIY attitude, just like Tommy Wiseau, and it's really quite inspirational, like Tommy Wiseau. But the movie doesn't always stay with this message. In fact, there's a lot of scenes and a lot of parts of this movie that really undercut it. The movie portrays Tommy Wiseau as some outcast weirdo in Hollywood who's told quite literally and to his face by people from Hollywood that he should just quit and go get a normal job. So instead of doing that, instead of becoming part of their system, he goes out and makes his own movie independently. and then makes The Room. Tommy Wiseau spending $6 million of his own money and going out and doing it himself, independent, sticks to this message to an extent. I mean, the message still has an impact, but it does make it feel kind of disingenuous. The movie says, go out and get it, you can do it. But also the main character goes out, and the way that he gets it is by throwing money at it. And it's like, well, yeah, you know. Another small complaint, the last 5 minutes kind of feels like the lazy kid's contribution to the group presentation at school. The rest of the movie is well put together, but the last 5 minutes, it cuts from, oh, good footage, oh, this is just a normal movie, to boom, you know, really lazy BuzzFeed Now This style, you know, music, captions explaining what happened after the movie, after the events of it, and it just, Despite its flaws, The Disaster Artist actually teaches us a decent amount about filmmaking, and that's where I think the most value of this film actually comes into play. It gives us a greater understanding of filmmaking, not by being an amazing film, but by showing us the production and the flaws and the bad things behind the production of an awful, awful, awful piece of garbage film. Honestly, I think watching bad movies and seeing people's failures, especially from good directors or even from bad directors that have put their entire career on one movie like Tommy Wiseau, I think that that's incredibly valuable. Watching bad movies and seeing where they failed really helps more than watching a big movie and seeing something amazing and thinking, oh my god, how do I do that? I have no clue how to do that. I think it's better to know what to avoid than to know what to do. I think that watching bad movies and seeing people's failures is super important. I think that if you see the way that someone has failed and made a movie like The Room, it teaches you in the future to avoid those things. It doesn't just point and laugh at Tommy Wiseau, it shows genuine criticism towards the way that he made his movie, the people he compared himself to, and the reason why ultimately his movie didn't meet his vision, no matter what he says. Tommy constantly cites Hitchcock and references Kubrick as justification for being an absolute dick, being an absolute monster to his cast and crew, but he completely ignores their talent. He completely ignores the fact that their movies weren't good because they were dicks to their cast and crew no matter what they did. And I mean, sure, part of what makes The Shining a great movie is Shelley Duvall's performance. You know, she plays a housewife that has been mentally abused and just completely ruined by a crazy madman. And Kubrick actually did that on set. He mentally abused an actress, and her horror translated to the screen. Sure, it's the wrong thing to do, but it made for a damn good performance. And that's what Tommy tries to justify himself with. And that's not the case, alright? That movie is lightning in a bottle, that performance is lightning in a bottle, and you just can't recreate that. Being an actual good director and knowing what you're doing is very, very different from calling your cast and crew idiots and everybody being treated like garbage, because that's the fastest way for someone to turn what is supposed to be a passionate relationship between a cast and crew and a director to, I don't care about the vision and I'm gonna just do this for a paycheck, which we see in the movie. Seth Rogen jokes about that. Being an asshole doesn't make your movie 2001. Being an asshole makes your movie even worse, and it means that people want to get out of there quicker, meaning that they don't care about your vision. Your vision doesn't matter to them because they don't matter to you, and you completely underestimate the power that they have. It's not just the one guy making the whole movie, it's a bunch of people. You gotta learn that. Even if the aspects I just mentioned aren't the most entertaining parts of the movie, it's definitely the most valuable thing that filmmakers and audiences alike can take away from this whole experience. Even if you thought the movie was a piece of garbage, well, it still holds some sort of value. At least to me. The Disaster Artist definitely deserves your money. You know, it's hilarious, it's well acted, and even though there's some inconsistencies in acting and message, it's still really well made. Plus, I got to see James Franco thrust into someone's belly button in a children's cinema. And for that, and the actual quality of the movie, of course, I'm not being swayed just by the fact that there was a slide next to me while I watched this entire movie. The Disaster Artist earns itself an 8 out of 10 and a first day Blu-ray purchase. I see many double features of The Room in this movie, with a lot of my friends, whether they like it or not. I think that once this movie is released on Blu-ray, my friends are going to hate me. People are going to turn against me, and they're gonna run. They're gonna run away from me. Great movie. I liked it. Have you seen this movie? If you have, what do you think of it? If you haven't seen it, criticize me for growing a really gross beard, please. I need to get rid of it. Say, hey, Moonlight is overrated. Yeah. I gotta go, man. I've been trying to film this video for like 2 hours. Well, have a good day and happy watching. We've only got to unconnect one cable from this.
Have you ever felt like you've been living on this earth for too damn long? Have you ever felt like you can never open up to dad and mama? Have you ever wished you were dead when you woke up in the morning? Or will you lay there? Will you lay there? Have you been afraid before? Yeah, yeah. Have you spent entire lifetimes wondering who the hell you are? Do you have a self-esteem? Yeah, yeah. Have you looked inside your future, wondering what the hell it means?
Alright guys, we're done.